All right, greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. What's going on? William, Poppy, Victory, Chuck. Right. Oh, we can start with that. That's a good comment. Start with. We're gonna have to take out Colonel Clink pretty soon. These motherfuckers. Maybe the data centers turned off during the snowstorm. Yeah. It just keeps getting wilder. Every time we turn around, every time I leave you guys for a couple days, when I come back, it's just gotten weirder. Someone else has been shot. That was If you didn't think Renee Good was just a straight up execution, that was absolutely an execution. Alex Pretti, I guess. There was no other way to see it. Although there were people out there, defending it. Hopefully my picture is clear. Yeah, guys. Hopefully the picture is clear. This time I don't have my VPN on, so I fixed that problem. Nice. Kameshwari Kate. Oh yeah, there's lots of music on the YouTube. Lots of my music is on the YouTube, and I also forgot to tell you guys the other day that I have a Kevin Sandbloom Patreon, which is just basically dealing with music. I've been posting some more things on the Black Bear News Patreon that are, I've been a little bit more active. I know I'm not all that active on that Patreon. But if you go over to the Kevin Sandbloom Patreon, I'll be updating my progress on recording the next record and stuff like that. Just general thoughts, ideas, and goings on about what's happening in music. So if you guys want to break from the news, you can follow me over on the Patreon. I'll drop the link right now. Yeah. Humans have a capability of some really not so great stuff. Reflect the Sun is over on Odyssey. What's up, Reflect the Sun? Hey. Reflect the Sun says, enjoying your music. Thank you. Yeah, I've started recording my next project, or started the process of recording my next project. Even though the last record I released is coming out on all the streaming platforms this Friday, so I suppose I should give you guys that one too. If you want to pre-save the link for the Matador record that's going to be streaming everywhere, you can also still just listen to it on Bandcamp. But if you want to listen to it on, whatever, Apple Music, Tidal, Spotify, even, it will be there. Where is it? All right. But that's not really what we're here to talk about. Oh, I see. Where are we at? Oh, Jesus. Hold on, guys. Where is it? Help. I'm lost. Help. Oh, here we go. Here is the pre-save link for the record coming out on Friday. So if you guys want to put that in your pocket, there you go. Okay. No offense taken, Joseph. I get it. It's hard for me to. I have many different layers of feelings about people and humans and the planet, and it's like you kind of have to operate at a certain layer, a level, if you want to operate. my true feelings would make it difficult to manage life. So I try to just kind of keep those over here. Yeah. I'm trying to like people. I am. I'm trying to like people. That might sound weird to some people to say, for me to say, but it's hard. On a lot of days, it's hard for me. There are people I love, absolutely love, but in general, like, just the people, the massive people in the world, I'm not really a huge fan, but that's just me. The farther away I stay from people, the easier it is to manage those feelings. But if I'm out having to like come into contact with people at a major scale, oh, it's really hard to contain those emotions. But there's a lot of really nice people out in the world, so I try to hang with them for as much as Jesus is coming. He is coming. He is a coming. I do appreciate a good bubble wrap. Are we talking about? Is that is that different from mumble rap? Bubble wrap. Okay. BBC. There's how you guys have seen all the videos, haven't you? I feel like y'all have seen all the videos. Having a hard time actually watching this one. I'm having a hard time watching it, period, but watch it we must. ICE removed Alex Pretti's gun, then shot him. Yeah, they're lying. I mean, I think everybody understands that they're lying. I think everybody gets. I don't even know if we need to watch this. I think everybody gets how bad this is. And I think mostly people are concerned. Maybe we don't need to watch it. I think mostly people are concerned with the reaction to this. Like, what are we going to do? This is kind of wild, Not kind of. I'm. It's out of control. Is what it is. What's even more out of control is people that defend this stuff. This is when I really have a hard time with humans. I'm like, I thought I lived on a planet with people who were not insane or only mildly insane, but no, they're actually full blown. I don't know, but that humans have a special capability for pretending certain actions are okay if it fits their lifestyle or if it fits their belief system. Almost anything can be justified, and that's across the board. That's not just Republicans. I mean, all kinds of people can justify almost anything if it is preferable or comfortable for them. I don't know. I don't I don't understand, but trying to. What are we going to do? What's pissing me off is Instagram has made it impossible for me to play videos For the most part. Yeah. When I try to open a video that I have sent to myself, it opens as another video. They're just like, nope, you are not going to play this link. You are not going to get this link somewhere else. You're not going to be able to do it. And that is dastardly. Like, how are they doing that? How are they changing the link? I'm copying the link specifically. I've done it a million times. Put it in the browser and it comes up and it starts playing another video. I'm just like, oh, dude, that's another level. That's a whole other level of shadow banning. Like, nah, nope. So I'm trying to play this link from Instagram, but I don't know how to do it unless I download the video, but it's hella long. Maybe I can just find it somehow. I just don't know how. Instagram is almost unusable on my desktop. Maybe we can do it this way. Maybe we can do it this way. Maybe we can do it this way. Here we go. Here we go. Maybe. Here we go. Here we go. All right, get in here, man. Get in here. He is talking about this is not it. Hold on. Let's find the right one. I just wanted to share it because I do think this is an important message. Where are we? Or can I even see it? Hold on. Dang it. This is not the one. Did they take it down? I feel like it was brand new. Let's see. Oh my God. Oh, here we go. Here we go. It's a little older, I guess. January 16th, but it's applicable to now. Hold on. Sorry it's taking me so long for this.
Rigged. I'm going to explain it to you. Because listen, if they don't win the 2026 midterms, their whole plan's cooked. The Democrats are going to be the majority by a large majority, because if the 2026 midterms happen free and fair, the Democrats are going to win en masse. Not because the Democrats are some amazing party. They've fucked us many times. They have a lot of reform they need to do, and that's a whole nother conversation, a whole nother video. But the Democrats will put an end to all this bullshit. They'll fucking kick Kristi Noem out. They're going to impeach the president. And I think this time the impeachment goes to trial. And I think that they remove him. I think it'll be the first time in American history.
Who removes him? Who removes him? The Democrats that are voting to fund ICE? I mean, I get maybe. Okay. I mean, we'll just work under that logic, but
the president's removed from office 100%, like legitimately. Even if you don't believe that, I'm telling you it will happen. And fucking ICE, all this shit stops. ICE is out. That shit's done. All this stops once the Democrats have the majority. But guess what? They know that as well. Donald Trump knows that. J.D. Vance knows that. Stephen Miller knows that. Russell Vought knows that. Steve Bannon knows that. And that most likely all of them, not Trump, we know he's not going to go to prison, but the other ones are going to go to prison. J.D. Vance might have a chance of avoiding prison, but Stephen Miller, Kristi Noem, these guys are going to prison. They've already broken so many laws. Like what?
In what world? I don't know. I found this video, informational and compelling, but now I'm like, yeah, I'm shaking my head at the logic of it. Are you serious? Somebody's going to jail? When's the last time somebody went to jail for anything? When's the last time a public official went to jail? Somebody in any administration went to jail. I mean, I guess what's his face? Mike Flynn went to jail, but I think that was under some kind of weird theater thing, because I feel like he went to jail under some kind of some strange charges. But when's the last time somebody went to jail? When's the last time somebody was held accountable? I mean, what are you talking about? Yeah, ain't nobody going to jail. Yeah, the Dems, if the Dems win, they'll just all be like, we forgive you. Or business as usual. We don't want to upset anybody by having trials and stuff. Maybe we'll just kind of halfway defund ICE or something. You know what I mean? Maybe they'll do a couple of nice little soft pets, for people to go like, oh yeah, the Democrats are back and their sanity. No, but any of that other stuff he's talking about, bro. Bro, hello, are you paying attention? Have you been paying attention, sir?
What ICE is out here doing is against the law, and that's a whole other conversation by itself. Listen, I was in Chicago when ICE was out there, in DC when ICE was out there. I'm out here in Minneapolis when ICE is out here. I'm telling you, I know how they operate, and I can break down for you step by step how what they're doing is extremely illegal. For you idiots who think because they're federal law enforcement they can just do all this shit, you're a fucking idiot. That is not how the law works, not how the Constitution works, not how the laws are written. They're flat out breaking the law. And if Democrats get power, they're going to be held to account for that, because Democrats know that's what the American people is going to demand of them. So they got to make sure that they win the 2026 midterms. And oh, by the way, before I tell you how they rigged it, let me say this as well. If they win the 2026 midterms, which their current plan is a good one, and I think that they will, between 2026 and 2027, that's the final collapse of America. I think as soon as the midterms are over, they turn the heat up. Once they've maintained power, they turn the heat up, and we are extra cooked. Like, it's over. I can agree with that. We're in, like, that's it. The final stages of America happens between November 2026 and sometime in 2020.
But the Democrats, if you just look at the Democrat track record, I mean, the people might want to vote Democrat. People might want blue in, but the Democrats themselves do everything in their power to just lay down for the Republicans. So I don't see how they can't help but just facilitate this.
27, the Fourth Reich rises to power, and it's a wrap, and then shit really gets bad. You think this is bad? You're right. This is bad, but it's going to get fucking far worse. Like, that's it. And I think that Donald Trump eventually, his health is going to catch up with him, and it's going to be J.D. Vance in office. And J.D. Vance, if you don't know, is going to be far worse than Donald Trump. Far worse, for all the reasons. I could break that down for you too. But
yeah, the thing is that there won't be enough like progressive Democrat, and let's say the Democrats do win. That's going to be just about it. That's about all we're going to get. Again, we might get a couple of little very feeble, flaccid, steps in a direction that feels a little less fascist for a little while. But for right now, I mean, everybody's just rolling over, just rolling the F over, because they knew this was coming. They had no intentions of stopping this. They were all in on the plan. They don't care. The funniest thing to me is some shit about Hillary and Bill Clinton are in contempt of the right. They refused to testify for the Epstein files, and people were like, it's 4D chess, man, because if they are in contempt of court and they don't testify, then all the Epstein documents have to be. I'm like, you guys are high on your own supply. My God, conspiracies are real on the left and the right. You got to be a special brand of fucking moron to believe like, oh, the Clintons are just like super brainiacs, and they just wanted to get Trump by not bro. Bro, come on. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Are you kidding me? Occam's razor says they're in the files. Duh. They're duh. They don't want to testify because they're in the files. Duh. That's why it's kind of simple. It's kind of simple. It's kind of simple. And guess what? Nobody's going to jail. They can be held in contempt, but what's that going to do? You're very bad. You're naughty. Nobody's going to jail. That's just the Congress is going to be like, you're in contempt, and they're going to be like, yeah, okay. And what you going to do? What you going to do to us? Nothing. No, yeah, we were just saying you were in contempt. That's it. We're just saying. That's it. That's all they can do. Like, oh my God. But like, don't ever lionize the Clinton. Don't ever say the Clintons are somehow, super geniuses trying to help you out, you and I out, help the people of America. You are high. You are high. So stop. Don't, if you see that post, go by. Just let it keep on going by. The Democrats helped make this whole thing happen. They were in cahoots. They were in, maybe some of them didn't like it, but they're like, I kind of like my job. Get paid a lot, and I get a lot of inside trading information too. So maybe I'll just sit this vote out. That's the Democrats right there. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. And they're collaborators. Anyways. I just, the whole thing is is sad. The whole thing is just sad. About the best thing that's going on is general strikes and the calls for general strikes, and the idea that this is basically where he goes with this. He's like, the only way out of this mess is for us to general strike to the point where we shut everything down, which is correct. That's the only thing that we could probably do at this point, is to, but you gotta know that we gotta somehow, get out of this two-party corporate duopoly thing that's going on. I don't know how we do that. Congress has to go. Like, all of Congress has to go. The Trump administration has to go. It all has to go. We have to somehow, I don't know if it's ever happened in the U.S. history before, but they have snap elections in Europe all the time. Snap elections. If we shut things down enough, maybe we could say, hey, this guy's out, no confidence, like, from the people of the United States of America, no confidence. And, we need a vote. We need like some kind of emergency vote, which is, Ben Lockwood brought this up too. The moderate position is impeaching Trump, disbanding his entire cabinet, and holding a special election by popular vote. Which, yeah, that's to determine the interim government. And when he says government, I think he's saying, but who's going to impeach Trump? Like, who's the government that's impeaching Trump? Like, is it Congress or is it the people? Well, who is it? Where are they? When you say have an election to get a new government, I imagine the whole government, not just Trump and his administration. I'm talking about everybody must go. Everybody must file out of that room. Everybody must go because they are all captured. They are all captured. They are all accomplices to this crime. Every one of them. And so I don't know how we do that. I don't know how we do that. I don't know how we do that unless we have like 20 million people standing in front of the White House going like, all right, Jack. No, and you guys too. Out of here. Out of here. Out. Out. Treason, sure. Yep. Let's look at this. Catherine Austin Fitts also talking about a very bleak future. Catherine Austin Fitts warns that ICE may start rounding up people without warrants, even targeting U.S. citizens and seizing their property after branding them domestic terrorists. I mean, that's all, when they start going door to door, who's to stop them from just pulling people out? Like, we don't like you. You're on a list. You're a bad person. We don't like you. You are, you're brown enough. You're whatever it is. Just make we don't like your social media posts. We saw what you said. What's to stop them from doing that? Nothing at all. There's nothing to stop them from doing that. Why can't Trumpers realize that ICE is deep state too? Because you can sell anything to people that don't know anything, and it's I get. I'm not trying to say like all Trumpers have a have a certain IQ, or that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say like people don't really know what's going on. And I'm not really trying to excuse it. I'm just saying like there's a lot of people out there that just don't have a political acumen. They're not really capable of taking in, people going to work every day just don't have the bandwidth to really like dig in and figure out what really is going on. And it's hard enough if you're just watching social media and getting a few news snippets here and there. It's hard enough just to get beyond the very surface level of, well, yeah, government's kind of corrupt, that's about as deep a thought as most people have in their head about politics. That's it, What's up, Andrew? How you doing? Well, most people have too much on their mind to really, understand all the nuance of like everything that's happening and get really deep in. So yeah, sure. I don't think it's great that there's a lot of, people that somehow have had their brains twisted into such a, pretzel that they think that they can support this kind of stuff, or they think that somehow this is like a great idea because they've been properly propagandized for the last several years or maybe even decades that, immigrants bad, la la la, taking your job, la la la, law and order, la la la, big government bad, la la. People just had this drilled into their head for years, so no wonder they think it. No wonder. It's sure. And how do you turn that around? Like without telling people like you're all stupid, like without, telling people, yeah, they suck. How do you turn it around? How do you change people's minds? How do you get people to go like, oh, hey, yeah, really, it is the privileged class stomping down on the working class. It really is just that, and they are both Republican and the Democrat, right? Like either side has a special warm place in their heart for like, well, the Republicans really care, but those commie liberals, they're terrible. They hate you. They want you to die, right? How many times have you heard that bullshit? And then on the other side, oh, those, Trumpers are, that MAGA is just insane, and they've got everybody hating each other when really it should be like, hey man, like, I know things are not going great for you either, and we're trying to find, instead of pointing our fingers over at the blue side or at the, the Rams versus the Patriots or whatever, that, it's just football. Instead of pointing at the other team and going like, you're stupid, like, you got to really understand, like, okay, there really are just, they got us at each other's throats, and this is no way to act, and like, we really kind of need each other, and we should probably all band together and do away with him. Like, that's really the answer. It's really the answer. But how do we get to that point? How do we get to the point where most people realize, like, we have shared goals. We have a shared idea about, like, what it means to be a good person. We have shared ideas about what is good for people, not seen through the lens of constantly being propagandized by media and or alt media about what is good and what is bad, and what should we care about. We're far, a lot of people are very far from really understanding what's going on, but I think that most people can agree on a lot. They can agree on a lot of things, Germany is going to quit the EU and NATO. Okay. Yeah, well, I saw the thing in Germany. So, let's try and think about, ways that we can extra, says people like that won't change until it's too late. Yeah. They control the conversation. Feels like they make puppets of us all. They do. I think, though, that we really could work on ways to figure out what our common goals are. And the thing is that they know what those common goals are, and they generally try to drop promises to get you to vote for them. Well, we'll give you stuff. We'll give you the things you want. And then they get in office and they're like, duped again. Like, every single time. You fell for it again, Charlie Brown. Obama did that shit. Trump did that shit. They all do that shit. Oh, you thought you were going to get some progressive policy? You are funny. So, we have to figure out a way to join together and make, and get people to lead who will do what they say that, or somehow make it so that, like, hey, you get into office and you start, like, changing up your promises. Like, there's a short leash, called, like, snap vote. We can call whenever we want. I don't know. I feel like our parties are way more entrenched here than in other countries. Like, in other countries, they can do that. They can be like, no confidence. No, we don't like you. No, thank you. Snap vote, surprise vote, quick vote, whatever it is. Like, they have the ability to kind of, jump people out if they feel like it. I don't know that it's any better than here, but they also have, more parties, more political parties in other countries. They have more choices. I don't know that it leads to better outcomes, but I mean, at least Europe has, like, GMO laws, and it's hilarious to me that people go over to Europe and they're like, oh, their food is so clean and they don't have all these preservatives and stuff. But as soon as I get back home, I'm going to vote for the small government president. I was like, yeah. The EU is just a bunch of enslaving communists. But man, I love going over there and enjoying their free education and their cheap trains and their 6 weeks of paid leave and their lack of dyes and chemicals in their food and stuff like that. Oh boy. Oh boy. I mean, we have been properly propagandized effectively. I'm not, I'm not saying that daddy government is, the best and the greatest thing. I'm just saying, like, if you're going to have somebody in charge, why not choose the people that are going to do something for you? If you're going to pay taxes, why not get something for your taxes? If you're going to, et cetera, et cetera. Why not feel like you can control or direct at least some of the outcome of what's going on? But here they have absolutely convinced everybody that, government bad, big government bad. Hello. Can you guys hear me? Okay. They've got everybody propagandized that, government is bad. Anything the government wants to do for you is bad. And therefore, you have just relinquished everything that the government can do for you and should do for you, like protect you, like protect your minimum wage or protect your rights or protect your health care or give you health care or clean water or anything like that. You've just totally relinquished the idea that they can help you with those things if you demand them. And so therefore you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. Oh, let's watch the rest of I talked over Catherine Austin Fitz. So
let me show you how the game works. Okay. So I live an hour outside of Memphis, and Memphis has an absolutely horrible crime problem. And they've had a district attorney, I'm told, who basically let the criminals run free. Okay. Now, we know the criminals running free to the extent they're doing narcotics trafficking or sex slave trafficking. It's not those criminals who are making all the money. The money's going upstairs, right?
Right.
Because you can't transact a dime in this financial system. It's all controlled by the banks. Okay. So the money's going upstairs. But anyway, so we have a DA who would prosecute. There's a wonderful senator from this area who's been trying to get that DA impeached, because what do you need? The crime rate is way too high in Memphis. Okay. And it's hurting property owners. It's hurting citizens. It's killing tourism. It's just bad. So, but what do you need? You need a non-Soros finance DA. You need a real DA who's prosecuting crime,
right,
and not permitting crime to happen in the city. That's your solution. Okay. Now, hold that thought, because this is the ping pong of the uniparty. So we got one side of the uniparty promoting this, sort of allowing crime to ravage Memphis. So in comes Trump. And if you look at what happened in Chicago, Trump is basically saying, okay, well, ICE is going to drop in and round up people without warrants or evidence, and including U.S. citizens and their kids, and confiscate property freely. Now, why would ICE do that? ICE would do that because if you get pushback against ICE, it gives the president authority to drop in the military, right? He's allowed to drop in military to protect ICE and ICE facilities, right?
Is he though? Well, let's come back to that though. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, let's just assume, he can have standing. What he doesn't have standing to do is drop in the National Guard or the military to deal with local crime. Right. That's the mayor's job, the police job. Okay. But if he can cook up a pushback against ICE, now, somebody said, oh, well, look at what ICE did, in Portland, in June. And my attitude was, really, who financed it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is a theater. And you've got, so I was having a debate with somebody from Memphis the other day. No, they were from the other side of Tennessee, but we're talking about Memphis. And they said, I would be happy for the president to drop military into Memphis to stop crime. Okay.
Wow.
And I said, pointing to what happened in Chicago, what about the rights of the people in Memphis? And she said, they have no rights until they're in prison. Okay. Now, what this does is say no warrants, no due process, no effort to determine whether somebody's a citizen or an immigrant.
Right.
Okay. So let's talk about the precedent. What we're saying is, I can arrest somebody with no warrant. I can, if you look at what's going on in California, I can hold them for 37 days at great expense of the taxpayer with no warrant and no identification and no due process. So no evidence, no warrant, no due process, right? And I can put them in prison. And the basis upon which I can do this is because I say they're a domestic terrorist.
Right.
So if I say you're let's say you have 100 acres of farmland I want for my data center.
Oh, good point.
I just say you're a terrorist, and then no warrant, no due process. I can go arrest you, put you in prison, and confiscate your property, all because I say you're a terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're talking the plunder game.
Yeah. Yep. ICE agents shot another woman today. I don't know if I want to show this. She had part of her hand blown off. Jesus. On Odyssey, Reflect the Sun. Oh, what happened, Reflect the Sun? You had some comments in here. What happened to your comments? You removed them? Did you remove the comments, Reflect the Sun? I was about to read your comments. I'm sorry. Gene says it doesn't help when people like Ryan Christian call democracy mob rule. We have mob rule, but that it's not really democracy. Yeah, I mean, I have issues with. Remember when AOC kept saying she wanted to abolish ICE? Yeah, well, where's her big public push to abolish ICE, other than being on Instagram, talking about ICE? Oh, why did you remove them? Reflect the Sun. Did you not like them, or you? I was about to come read. Just if we're in the middle of something, I can't necessarily stop and read all the comments. You did say someone asked the elderly lady of 104 years old what was her secret. She said, "I avoid people." That's one way to do it. I was going to say, Gene, Ryan Christian is one of the people that I most, I have a hard time with him because he doesn't, he's one of those I hate the government type people, but he's constantly saying government is evil. I often wonder about, I assume that's really his stance, that he just hates authority or he hates the government and he thinks the government should go away. The problem is that he's always talking about how things are getting worse and the government doesn't regulate, poisons like they ought to, or, all this like lawlessness that's happening, all the, regulations going away and things getting worse. And it's like, he doesn't really, I don't think he sees the connection between telling people that the government is bad and then just telling people that they have no agency to change the government or to pressure the government to do better. Which is the only way that they're going to change. The only way that the government is going to change is that, it's kind of probably doubtful that you're not going to have a government. And yeah, I'm up for some wishful thinking, but if you're going to have a government, the only way you're going to get them to do at least something for you. And we have history that shows us that, yes, this can happen. Yes, in Europe, you can shut things down every time something happens and go, nope, sorry. You're not going to do that. And they generally respond. They generally turn around in about face and go like, oh, whoops, sorry, we didn't mean to say that. That's how it works, right? So when you just say government's bad, but what are we going to do about it? Until you're, out in force pressuring people. And what do you want? What do you want from them? Like, it's kind of a catch-22. If you just say like government's bad, they shouldn't exist. That doesn't really, okay, fine, great idea. But like, what about in the meantime? What about the things that you actually want the government to do in order to petition the government for, redress for better actions? You actually kind of have to allow for the idea that they are there, they're operating, they're going to be there. So maybe they should not be financing roving goon squads. Yeah. Yeah. I just, ideologically, I just don't, I have a real hard time with people that come from the Ryan Christian school of big government bad. I'm just like, I don't, you're not giving anybody any, and I don't know if it's just, that's his thoughts, or if it's, seems to be a lot of alt media people are in that camp, which makes me feel paranoid and conspiratorial, as if like, you guys seem to be serving a purpose, because the thing that you're doing is telling people they don't have a lot of agency and don't worry about it and give up and better not try. I don't know, but I take him at face value that I think that he actually cares. I don't know. I just think it's the wrong way, but that's my thoughts. I disagree. I don't know. You Reflect the Sun was just agreeing with you. No one is going to get arrested by the Democrats. Yes. Wolves Finance had an interesting video yesterday regarding the largest right-wing evangelical organization. Oh, okay. Wolves and Finance. Okay. Yeah, which is kind of why I have actually divested my screen time from a lot of folks that kind of have that basic position. I mean, I align with them on a lot of issues, but like, I just, I'm having I'm having a hard time like supporting that kind of ideology with my eyeballs and my attention. And I want to see people talking about solutions, being angry about stuff. And yes, a lot of it is theater, sure. A lot of people are saying like they're just trying to provoke people into a reaction. Sure. Okay. but somebody's got to do something somewhere somehow. Like if your position is sure, educate people, try to, but like if your position is just is mainly to not try, or not have any answers for not have any answers for like, well, what should it look like? What should we do? What should what should a better outcome be? What do you want? That's the other thing is like, I have a hard time with people that can't describe like, well, we don't like this. Okay, but then what do you want? What would you like? How would you like to get there? What would you like to see happen? What are the steps in order to get there? What do you think we should do? How should we mobilize? How should we go forward? And I've had that issue with with climate change people for a long time. Yeah, I understand it's mostly hopeless, but like, hey, what's the point of knowing if you're just going to be like, well, whatever. I feel like that is just ultra cynical and a little bit lazy. At least make a go of it. Try to do something. Try to give a F. I don't know. You would like a pony. Thank you, Salt Lickers. Form tribes and help each other become independent of the city. Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people are doing just that. Like a lot of people are doing just that. I mean, we have a very enlightened crew here. We have a lot of people that live, off-grid or semi-off-grid lives or are actively involved in saving forests. Actively involved in, doing something, being helpful in some kind of manner. So there's a lot of people here that we can all learn from. Peace in pocket. There's also behind the scenes things people can do, like mutual aid and local networks. Exactly. There's a ton of things you could do. Oh, Mark Carney is, all the way up in the business class. Yes, he is. No, that guy is evil as the day is long. No, Mark Carney is not anybody's savior. Nope. It's like they got rid of Trudeau and they're like, how about Carney? Like Carney, like somebody that works at the carnival, like a carnival barker. Carney. No, that guy is super, super entrenched in the whatever you want to call it, the WEF, the banking class. Didn't he run England's central bank? Like you can't, Bank of England. You are part of the predator crowd for sure. Guys, if you like the show, if you want to support the show, I did. I heard part of his speech. Yeah, he's weirdo about New World Order. Love to hear that phrase thrown around. Love it when people come out and start talking about New World Order. Like, remember what was his name? What was the dude's name? He was the WEF leader, and then they kind of quietly got rid of him because he's like, everybody's like, he's too evil. Canada does have free healthcare. So does England. Schwab, thank you. Yeah. Klaus Schwab. Yeah, they got rid of him because they're like, this guy is not really selling it like we want to. Guys, if you want to support the show, there are lots of links in the description box of whatever platform you're watching on. And I appreciate you, especially people watching on. Oh, you said something about Kashama. Yeah, that was the. Thank you. Reflect the Sun bought me a couple coffees. Appreciate you. Kashama's organization on strike, getting her elected, beating Adam Smith, long shot. But if Macklemore and others got involved, perhaps there's a chance. I like Kashama. We'll see. If she can get in, then, I see her as a, like a Cynthia McKinney type of rabble rouser. Maybe she can get in and really, but those people don't hang out for very long, right? They don't last very long. They find ways to get rid of those people, to get them voted out, or maybe she won't ever get voted in. I don't know. But I mean, I'm not trying to, I think she's probably the most genuine person out there. So I hope she wins. I hope that everybody puts their effort and their faith and, their shoulders into getting her elected. Yeah. You would eat the bugs. That was his famous quote attributed to him. But they just switched the players out, You switch Trudeau out, you switch Schwab out, you switch the players out. I mean, what do they need to do now? Now everybody's the Trump Netanyahu syndicate is taken over. So, I mean, if anybody's more New World Order than them, I don't know who is. Or maybe they're not New World Order. Maybe they're just like America Uber alles. Maybe they are the Fourth Reich. I don't know. I mean, I feel like they're globalist on a more pure, like, capital scale, right? They just want to own everything and control everything. And I think, if we let them, they'll get their way. I appreciate it. Reflect the Sun. Thank you. Yeah, I would like to see Kashama win. I would. If to not just hear her ideas, it's a lot harder to get through the algorithmic noise, though. I haven't seen a post from Kashama anywhere in weeks. I never see Kashama, her name, her speaking, anything about her ever on social media, ever. So they're doing a good job of making sure nobody hears her name. Nobody knows who she is or what she's talking about. They are doing a great job, because she was all over the place a couple months ago, and I was showing quite a few of her videos, but I have not seen anything from her. I'm following her. I don't see any of her posts ever anywhere, which is probably what's happening with people that follow me. Yeah, they make sure that nobody sees her stuff. Absolutely. If they can help it. Yeah. Do I even see her posts in my following feed? Nope. They don't want Kashama anywhere near anybody's brain. And that's how they do it these days. These days, they just squash you so you don't really exist. It was a third-party NDP that is responsible for getting healthcare in Canada. Nice. Well, I think that's the only way we're going to get healthcare, is if we get a third party. That's the only way it's going to happen. If we get a very, very strong socialist third party. I think that's the only way it's going to happen. Yeah. You have to literally click on her and them to get updates. Yep. It's interesting to me and also very sad. It must be really hard to run that campaign and just feel like you're not talking to anybody. How many followers does she have? She has quite a few followers, 104,000 followers. But her posts are getting, not even 1,000 likes. 104,000 followers, and she's barely getting 1,000 likes on her posts. That's interesting. Yeah, like nobody's seeing her posts. There's a lot of posts on here with 100 likes. For 100,000 followers, you get 100 likes. That is, yeah. Here's a post, not even 200 likes. How is that possible? You have 100,000 followers and you get not even 200 likes. They're squashing the ever-living shit out of her. That's why. All right, guys. That about does it. She needs Macklemore to boost. Yeah. She needs something. She'll never get on TV. You never hear, does PPS ever go, Kashama so what? Do any other stations out there, Kashama so what? Anybody? All right, guys. I got to wrap it up for today. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks for being here. And I didn't get to cover everything I wanted to cover. There is a storm going on. If you're in the storm, please be safe. There is, real quick, more coming supposedly this weekend. So really be careful. Look at this. This is predicted for this weekend. Minus 28 somewhere in Tennessee. Minus 23 in Missouri. 24 in Missouri. Yeah. This looks like this is what is being forecast for this weekend, for the coming week. So someone else bought me a coffee. Thank you. Appreciate you. Whoever you were. They won't tell me your name, but thank you. So be careful out there, y'all. And we'll talk about it more, I'm sure, on Thursday. So I'll see you on Thursday at noon. Thank you, guys. And peace out. And until next time, you know the deal. Beware the
Bye.